do that have never been done before.
We the people tell the government what to do. It doesn't tell us. We the people are the driver. The government is the car. And we decide where it should go and by what route to do. We the people are free. And I hope we have once again reminded people that man is not free unless government is limited.
Well, g'day, folks. How are you? I hope you're doing all right for your Friday. And what's that make it? A little over 10 days before Christmas. How's the Christmas shopping going? You having fun? I know it can be expensive when you go out there. Have you found, in a world exclusive tonight, folks, I'm going to reveal to you the new $100 note, which the Australian government haven't issued yet, but I believe will be issued imminently. And here's just a bit of a quick look at it. Yep. That's it. An ounce of silver. That'll be the new $100 note real soon. The price right now, $95.47. I'm not going to say I told you so, but some months ago I did say before Christmas could hit $100. Well, we're 10 days out, a little over 10 days out. It's jumped again overnight, and it looks like it's going to continue moving in that general direction. The man who is much better with figures than I am, he's also pretty good at waving, joins us for a Friday night. Good evening to the Waving Wonder. How are you, brother?
Hi, guys. How's everybody?
I'm a bit excited because if people took our advice, and I've been getting emails from people, phone calls from people, texts from people, thanking me for, introducing them to Ainslie Bullion, because in some cases people have tripled their money from when they first bought. When we first started talking about this, the price of an ounce of silver was $38. And probably it went down to about 35. And from there, it hasn't really looked back. It did a bit of a jump into the 40s and dropped back, then a jump into the 50s and then a drop back, and then a jump into the 60s, and it didn't drop back so much. And since then, it's just kept on going. Now, if you're looking at mainstream market analysts to tell you much about what's going on here at the moment, they're all talking it down, because what it really means is that the COMEX is having a real hard time trying to suppress the price of silver. In fact, now the people that I talk to have said it's like a runaway train. It can't be stopped. So whatever is going to happen in the next few weeks, make sure you get a bit more silver, because it ain't over yet, folks. The climb continues. Now, I was sent a very interesting video, which I think I've posted up on my Facebook and on the Telegram channel, and it's only about 20 minutes long, and it actually describes why silver is in the position it currently is, how it got there, how the markets have manipulated it, and why the market isn't going to be able to stop it in the usual fashion. It's well worth having a bit of a look at. We'll give you a bit of an insight. And speaking of insights, Ainslie Insights, well, they've been very busy this past week, as you would imagine, putting out a whole heap of news. Every time they put out a video, they need to update it. That's how fast things were moving. So ainslieBullion.com.au, check out the Ainslie Insights tab. And Chris Tipper and the team there have really put together this week some great conversations that are very worthwhile having a listen to if you are a stacker, somebody who's collecting this for the long term, but also if you're somebody who's looking to flip your silver. And there are a lot of people who play the silver and gold market. So, for instance, there is a school of thought that says silver is going to peak out at whatever it peaks out at. You decide when that's going to be, but you take your $95, $96, $100 an ounce, whatever it is, and you exchange that then for gold, because the school of thought is that gold is going to bounce as well at some stage and be just as profitable, but on a greater scale, obviously, because it's gold. So these folks tend to take their money out of silver, put it into gold, wait for gold to go up, then buy a bit more silver, sell a bit more silver, sell some gold to buy silver, wait for the silver price to go back up again. So if you're one of those sorts of people, really good, but good luck. And I hope you can avail yourselves of it. Of course, ainsleyBullion.com.au will deliver anywhere in Australia. I've been putting some people on to the lovely Katrina. She probably hates me because I've been handing out her phone number to people this week in the Brisbane office. So she's been working very hard for a lot of the Voice of Freedom people who wanted to buy in this week. So thank her for all the great work that she's been putting on. But look, folks, it's not over yet. Don't think you've missed it. I had a conversation yesterday with a young bloke who 5 months ago, we sort of said, maybe you should, have a look at putting it into silver. Oh, no, don't like that idea. I'm going to stick with my stocks and my bonds and my whatever other sort of stuff. And look, he's done reasonably well out of it. However, he hasn't made 120% return in what is effectively 12 months. 120% is how much silver has gone up just since January. So it's going to be fun. Bought another $500 worth this morning, Kev. Good on you. Well done, brother. I'm wondering if that's the Kev that I'm thinking of. If that's the Kev I'm thinking of, you've got a way to go yet, because I think you needed to buy 8 kilos for a certain reason. But that might be a different Kev. So some of the folks that I do know are playing catch up because they thought they might be able to have some use of some silver, say a couple of kilos, to either pay some bills or do whatever, and they would be able to replace it down the track. Well, now they're scrambling, and those folks are on a much smaller scale, displaying exactly the same issue that major companies and major players in the silver market have. They have thought they'd be able to sell they did sell their silver at a certain price. They thought they'd be able to buy it back at a certain price, and now that price has more than tripled. And that means that the company's got to pay a lot more money to try and get the physical silver back, and a lot of them aren't going to be able to afford that. And then, of course, there is the small problem of supply. Now, at the moment, we're not feeling a supply pinch. Ainslie Bullion able to supply, I think, practically everything. I was having a look through their site today. There might be 1 or 2 items that they're just waiting to come back from the refineries or from wherever they're getting them made. But they've still got plenty of access to plenty of silver and plenty of gold. The other thing that you should understand about Ainslie Bullion is that for every dollar put aside or ascribed to gold and silver, they actually have the physical gold and silver to match for it. Now, that's something that many others don't have. So, wow, you got over a $200 discount just by mentioning my name, Robert. Congratulations, mate. You obviously bought a little bit, so well done.
A little lot for $200. A lot.
Yeah, $200. That's well, somebody told me the other day. I'm just trying to think how much they bought, but it was at any rate, the discount that they got was $15. And I want to say it was close to $5,000 that they bought. So I could be wrong. But look, the discount is not great. If you're buying 1 or 2 coins, it's a 15th of a wiener's thing. But if you are putting bigger dollars into it, and there are plenty of people who watch the show that have those sorts of dollars, then yes, that's significant. That $200 buys you another 10 coins or whatever. It buys you more ounces, is what I'm saying, or portions of ounces. Only wish you could get 8 kilos. Never happen unless you've got lotto. Well, you could always try one of our lottery tickets. It's not 8 kilos of silver, but it is $750, which you could put towards a kilo of silver, which at the moment I think is $3,200 and something odd dollars. So
Yeah,
how's
and I
that for
love it.
people who? Well, that's right, because you own kilos, don't you?
Yeah, I was lucky enough to think about it 2.5 years ago. I bought it back then, 2.5 years ago, when I got some of my super. Well, I got my super out. So I'm now like over 200% up.
Over 200% up.
Well over 200%.
No wonder you've got
up.
a smile on your face. You don't care that Bitcoin's gone through the floor, do you?
No. Never, as I've always said, diversify. Never keep all your eggs in one basket. So, no.
Yeah.
And those guys who've got questions, I've starred those. I'll get back to you on it shortly.
Very good. Very good. So I think it's a very exciting time for people. If you are looking to buy somebody something for Christmas that's hard to buy for, can I suggest buy them a little bit of silver? Now, you can go and buy Byron Bobs in the 1/10th size. You can get 15 of those for a very reasonable price in a roll and hand them out. They're about $15 a piece now. So if you're giving out gifts to kids and that kind of thing, then it is very easy to just buy some Byron Bobs. If you want to go a bit harder and buy silver, like an ounce of silver, and give that away, or half an ounce, or a 20th, Ainslie can look after you. And it will teach the kids the value of the silver, because you can go to them next Christmas with another bob and say, well, you know that one last year that I gave you, it was worth whatever it is, $12 or $15. It was worth that last Christmas. This Christmas, it's now worth $22 or whatever it'll be Christmas time next year. Hopefully more than that, much more than that.
Well, you should scroll down on the page, Carl. I mean, I can pop it up there, but I can't move it.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Right, so,
hang on. Well, let me just go to the buys.
Byron Bobs, there you are. That's what we're looking for.
So the Byron Bobs are what, $12.89 each, or $12.99 each. If you were going to buy them in a block of 15 like that, you're paying $194.80, and you get 15 of them. If you've got 3 or 4 kids, easy enough to hand them out to the little ones. Be careful, they're a choking hazard for the really little ones, I suppose. But you've still got then probably an ounce of them in your pocket that's going to do you well over the coming days, I would have thought. So, yeah.
And anybody was still looking for our little packs of Byron Bobs, we've sort of put them on hold for a while because we just can't literally keep up with the price of silver. Right now, if we were to put them out, we'd have to be asking $170 per pack, right? And that's assuming that tomorrow it doesn't go to $15 a bob, or 16 or 17. So it's really difficult in that respect.
Yeah, we'd have to have the money up front to be able to go in and buy them today at today's price, and then just push them on. So, and unfortunately, we don't have that sort of cash flow at the moment because not enough of you are buying lottery tickets fast enough. I mean, plenty of them are buying it.
Yeah,
we just need to
and I can't sell my silver for you guys because it's my kid's inheritance. So bad luck. I don't even get to keep it. So
no, I don't think there'll be too many of us that get to keep it. I guess we get to maybe use some of it, but hopefully it'll be something that we can pass on. All right, here's something if you're looking for money. Del Rich Research are offering you anywhere between $1,300 to $1,500 if you want to hold your arm out and get a COVID booster. I mean, I know Christmas can be hard. Christmas can be hard on folks, but that's got to be an indication of just how hard up these companies are. Now, this company, as you can see here, is a network of integrated research sites embedded within physicians' practices to offer the benefit of a dedicated research team with the support of a centralized team. it's all gobbledygook to me. We're committed to our mission of moving medicine forward through increasing patient participation in clinical trials by paying them $1,300. How do you do that? Through our partnerships with sponsors and CROs, we are able to advance the future of medicine and provide research as a therapy option within our physician partner clinics. Now, you should be worried about that last line. We can provide research as a therapy option. That, my friends,
Always reading the words.
Yeah, always.
Well, in all fairness,
always.
though, that is how we do advance in science, and that is how we do make some pretty amazing discoveries to help. It's just who is supplying the funding and how much control they have over the results is the question. So, if it's
But
good,
this is for COVID booster, Vince.
Well, there was COVID vaccines that were made in the normal fashion that were not using the mRNA. So,
are we actually saying there was a COVID?
Well, let's say I can neither confirm or deny that. Just taking it from our guest speaker from the other night. So,
Yes. Yes, I can neither confirm or deny. Yeah, interesting. Hey, Paul, shh. Maybe I shouldn't have told everybody where they could go and see that movie. Shh.
Yeah, that should be kept quiet. Well, speaking of money, though, and the fact that you were just talking about that, and people looking for ways to raise money, just before the show, I thought to myself, a silly question, because someone else brought up the fact that silver back in the 1980s, and if we actually show that chart, that's it there, right? Back in the 1980s, that's where the peak price for silver got up to, nearly $48 American. And then it topped out again here. And now, of course, we're way up here. And he was saying that it should be worth probably about 200. So I thought, oh, that's interesting. You know, what if you bought something for $10 back in 1980, right? What would that cost you today? And believe it or not, the answer is $40 to $45. So in a little over 45 years, it's gone up 4.5 times. But you think, okay, so what's wages done over that? So back in the 1980s, the average full-time wage was around $14,000. Today, the same equivalent is $104,000. Now, question for our audience. How many of you guys have ever earned $104,000 in an income on your average wage? I mean, if you've been very successful, good on you. Put it up there. Put a thumbs up or yes, I've done it in the chat, right? But if you haven't, how many of you have earned $104,000? If you haven't done it, say no. Put that in the chat. That'd be really interesting. Just a quick survey, right? But here's the relevance. To buy a house back then, it would cost you 3 to 4 years of your yearly income. To buy that same house today is now 9 to 10 years of your yearly income. Does that make sense? Even though $10 was now $45, a house is now 9 to 10 times more instead of 4 to 5 times more. And then we've got this young advert that they've got with this young Indian guy who's just bought a house at 21 years of age through the help of family and friends. And he's a fairly new person to Australia, I would suggest. So good on him for being able to buy a house. Yep. Love to know where all the money come from, though. Just curious. You know, not saying anything, but just wondering. 21 years of age, yet people who have lived in this country all their life and are unable to save enough for even a deposit. And someone that comes from overseas is able to save up all that money quickly and buy a house. Interesting.
Well, a lot of those people coming from overseas are coming with gold in their kick, right? Because they've had gold in their families for thousands of years. And I remember back to my limo driving days. I was quite often picking up people from the Middle East, either from here, sending them back there, or picking them up from there and bringing them home here, where they would have carry-on luggage that, you know, two blokes would struggle to carry, because they're carrying around large bars of gold. So they have gold. The souks, everybody wears gold over there. You know, there's gold is everywhere in the Middle East and that sort of thing. So whether or not it's good gold, or, you know, it's not 99.99999% pure, but you can bring it back here. I used to know a guy who was a jewelry maker in Bagara, and he would fly out to Mexico and spend a month over there buying gold, Mexican gold, and just bring it back in a backpack with him. And then he would do what he needed to do with it here at his studio to make bespoke jewelry out of it. But as he explained, it wasn't like Australian gold. It wasn't this high purity gold. It was a much softer gold. And, you know, if you wanted to do, you know, make it harder or stiffen it up, you had to add, you know, bits and pieces to it, which only took away from the gold value, while it added the sort of stiffness. So, you know, the gold markets as such, it can be very interesting, and where you buy your gold, what percentage of purity there is in that gold, all of that comes into play. So if you are doing that, like Brucey, I dare say he picked up a few chunks of it while he was wandering around the wilderness with his machine that goes beep. He will have to go and probably crush the gold out of those rocks that he's picked up, because where he was doing his prospecting, I believe, is where you get those specimen type rock formations with gold in them. Therefore, you've got to crush it to get the gold out. Unseen Wilderness back here. Thank you very much for coming back. A new subscriber joined us last night, Vince, for the first time. Stumbled across the show with one on it, and decided to come back.
Yep.
So thank you very much, Unseen Wilderness. Lovely to have you. Which part of America are you in? I did see Michigan mentioned in the chat there earlier, so maybe that's where it is.
I like that
vending machines.
Or revoked
Peg's Place is saying
it's illegal. Sorry, I'm just laughing.
Peg's Place is saying the vending machines also carry gold in some of those countries. So yeah, I believe in Saudi Arabia, in Qatar, and quite probably Dubai, there are some gold vending machines. Well, let's face it, there's a vending machine in Singapore that spits out supercars. Have you seen that one?
No.
It's 40 stories tall, and only luxury supercars live in it. You go up to it, you beep your card, it selects it, brings it downstairs, and you can pay $15,000 to drive like a kilometre or whatever it is in Singapore in your supercar. And the people that own them hire them out to people who are stupid enough to want to go and pay the fees to drive it a kilometre through Singapore. You can't drive things fast in Singapore. You can only drive good cars slowly and try and look good in them, I guess. But, yeah, so they'll put anything in vending machines. Japan's the king for it, apparently. I mean, you can get absolutely anything in there, even a little Japanese person. So,
well, not quite. Yeah, well, you might be able to get a Japanese person, but nobody else.
That's true. Somebody once said, because an Aussie mate of mine, a rugby league player, was in Tokyo, and for a well, I'm not going to tell you who he is. He'd been out. He'd been enjoying the fair of Tokyo, and he needed to fart, but his fart turned into a shart. So he found himself in desperate need for a new pair of jocks while they were out on the town, and somebody suggested they try this vending machine. So sure enough, they found a vending machine just on the side of the road, along with 500 other vending machines, and this one had underpants in it. So he's got and selected the largest pair of underpants that you could get because he's a pretty large bloke, and pulled them out. And apparently one of the funniest things that any of those fellas have ever seen is him trying to get into those underpants. They wound up buying another set for him and thought put one on each leg, it might help, try and tie them together at the top. So the underwear is probably built for, the Japanese person, I would say. Yeah, we'll see what's going on. Oh, now, Vince, Black Sheep has been asking, and I went looking the other day for it too.
Tagged it.
I
tagged a couple of his questions in there. There's a few questions that have popped up that I've tagged that are specifically aimed at me. So I'm doing the very good thing that I should do as a presenter on here and ducking them. No, sorry. I'll answer them soon.
That's cool.
But
has anyone got kids? That's a good one. Has anyone got kids that the media ban has affected so far? From what I understand, the kids aren't having too much of an issue with it. They've already found their way around it.
Yeah, well, and maybe, there are some options that can be done. But I'm seeing that they decided to do just what the government wanted them to do, go outside and play. And apparently, according to 9 News, in a place somewhere in Queensland on Adelaide Road, 40-odd e-bikes with kids all over the place were just rooting around and disobeying signs and, going through red lights. And not just the footpaths, they were blocking buses and everything. So, let's face it. Let's have a look. This is a really good conversation piece. Take the kids today from the kids that we were back when we were young. Now, we were ratbats, let's face it. We'd go out and do stupid things and bits and pieces. But I believe we had some modicum of self-control. Today, I think that generation that we have today doesn't have that same sort of self-control. And therefore are going to do much, much more stupid things. And there's already video of kids going through one of the big supermarket chain or, the big stores that has everything in them.
Yep.
And malls, right? And throwing chairs and being disruptive and all this sort of stuff. I believe that we're going to see a lot more of that occurring. So personally, and it's only my opinion, just so YouTube can't take it down, I believe that this particular ban, for those who do go out and those kids that don't have sports to go to and all that sort of stuff that sort of drifted away because of social media, I believe they're just going to get into more and more and more trouble. And that's going to cause more and more grief. Now, who is responsible for that? The same people who are busily taking $10,000 cars to a football match and all that sort of stuff, because they can just spend our money how they feel like it. So,
what that brings up a very valid point there, I reckon. Back in the day when we were going to school, we had corporal punishment, and it wasn't just at school. You could come home and
my fingers tell. I remember that. My fingers remember that.
Well, at the boarding school that I wound up in, I'd seen the strap in primary school. I hadn't actually got it, but I'd seen it plenty of times, come close. But in boarding school, I hit the jackpot for telling a guy the time in late study when you weren't allowed to be talking. I got 6 on the arse with a fan belt in my summer shorty pajamas. And I learnt then that you don't talk when you're in late study, regardless for any reason, because the priests are sneaky bastards and hide up the back of the room where you can't see them, sneak in, and you can't hear them walking. They glide. They don't step on anything. They just glide. So 3 of us wound up. 3 of us wound up with a fan belt wrapped around our ass, and I can tell you that you knew about that for months. I had bruises down the right side of my leg where that thing whipped around and hit me. And the only advice we were ever told when we first got to the boarding school was if you ever get Roger, which was the fan belt, make sure that you hold your hand down beside you in a fist down like beside your hip and down your leg, because Roger has a habit of whipping around and hitting you in the front half, which would certainly take the wind out of your sails, I would think. But
yeah,
and leave a bruise.
well, I know my fingers copped the cane a couple of times, so across the fingers.
But
so
it worked. Coppers back in the day would grab you, pull you out of the car, stick their size 10 right up your date, threaten to tell your parents, and throw you back in the car. Not if you were drink driving, but if it was something just, you're being a dickhead, they didn't feel the need to, extract thousands of dollars out of you, send you to court, humiliate you publicly.
Oh, yeah. Carry on. That's Carilla. Correct. I'm trying to say her name. Kirili Smith. No,
Kirili Smith.
Kirili Smith, yeah. Just wanted to ask Katrina there, though. Is that child abuse or is that discipline? That's a question that needs to be worked out. I mean, at least you had a line drawn in the sand where you knew not to cross.
Absolutely.
So, because it hurt. It hurt if you crossed it. So,
and at home, we had, a similar line. If you crossed the line, and I can't ever really remember, maybe once, that's all it took, getting the flexus. What it was a power cord that went to an old toaster that had the plugs cut off it, and you turned it in half, and by God, I remember wearing that once, and if all mum or dad ever had to do after that day, if I was misbehaving, carrying on being a tool, they all had to do is bring it out, show it to me, and put it on the desk. That's all they had to do.
I didn't even have to do that. I'll tell you right now, I never used anything to hit my kids with, but this works, right? And I've only ever had to do it once to my kids. And from that point on, when my voice hit a certain pitch, they knew they'd hit the end of a line. Only had to do it once, only ever once. But it hurt so much that once that they knew where the line was drawn. So, all right. So it's a catch-22, and that's once again my just personal story. So YouTube, and the reason why I'm picking on YouTube is because they had a crack at us on FBN for something that Voice of Freedom did, where they don't properly explain their rules. But that's normal. So I'm just making sure we cover our bases.
Very good.
Sorry,
very good.
Kirili Smith. Getting back to Kirili Smith. She was a lady who's just finished or just received a fine for $95,000 for apparently misgendering a soccer player or soccer players that were playing in the women's soccer league. Right. So the court, this is an Australian court, has gone and fined her $95,000 and is giving her a set of rules saying that she has to remove all the stuff she put up. Now, she is a registered political lobbying group, so there's an issue there straight off the bat because political lobbying groups are covered under the Constitution, but she's part of that group. But here's the sick thing about this is if she doesn't fill out the orders, which is take the stuff off that she has on them, which was publicly available material, if she doesn't take that off the social media pages, and she's not allowed to talk about them, but she has to put a comment in saying that she's been charged of this and been found guilty for these people, mentioning the name. So we've got two laws that one says you can't mention them ever again, but mention them. So there's an issue there. If it's not done in 2 weeks, the fine doubles. My question is, what the fuck? I'm sorry, government. I'm sorry, court system. Where the hell are you getting off doing that? Right? You can't, if you put a penalty in, the penalty is there. You can't just double it every 2 weeks because you feel like it. So to the judge, sit on it, rotate. Right?
Go, judge.
As far as I'm concerned, I'm pissed off here, and a lot of Australians should be. Right, and to our gentlemen who were playing in the women's sport, grow some balls, take some attitude, Learn to live with it. Go and play in where the men are, and maybe you might learn some stuff. Right? Take your girly feelings and go elsewhere otherwise. But leave the women to their sport. Okay? And that's also just my opinion from a male who lives in this country, just so YouTube can't get upset about me having my opinion about a politically relevant subject. Note the word politically relevant subject. YouTube. Sorry.
Oof.
Oh, I read their terms and conditions. I get quite,
Yes.
you know.
Well,
and
they
as
are
for
a
Kira
law
Lee
unto
Smith,
themselves.
as for Kira Lee Smith, she did the right thing. She's allowed to talk about it. They are a political group, right?
Yep.
And I don't believe they should ever pay that 95. They are going to challenge it. And I think they, in the end, they'll win. And the only way they're going to win is we, the people, start being non-compliant, stop bending to the philosophy of others, right? We have our own beliefs, and as much as they believe who they are, and they have that right to believe who they are, and they have that right to feel that way, we have exactly the same right to not accept the way they feel or have it forced upon us. Period. So,
Indeed.
both rights, who's wrong? They're both right. Which one's wrong? Neither. Because it's a person's own feelings.
Very true.
Oh, so you shouldn't have invited me on tonight. I'm firing.
Black Sheep has just given me a Forrest Gump moment. I just love this. Dad used to hit me up until I was 18. I eventually had enough, so I gave him a black eye. Dad stopped hitting me after that.
Yeah.
I just think
that works as well.
I think most young men have been through that experience in their lives with their dads at some stage.
No, but it is that case. Oh, congratulations, sons! You have now graduated to manhood. Yeah. There was something else I wanted. Oh, I've got questions. People have been asking. I'll just raise them. I'll deal with them now, so you can think and concentrate on something else, or fall asleep, whichever suits you better.
I didn't sleep last night, folks. I've had like 2 hours sleep for whatever reason. When I got off the show last night, I thought I'm going to bed, and I didn't. The phone rang and kept ringing, so it was 12:15 before I went to bed, and I thought I'll get there. I'll fall asleep quickly. And I didn't, not even close to quick. 2:15, I'm looking at the clock thinking, this is a bit stupid. 3:30, still a bit stupid. I had a bit of a drift off for a little while. The next time I looked at the clock, it was like 4 o'clock and I needed a wee. So sorry to share that with you. But I thought, well, I'm up now. So I went back to bed, tried to have a lie down. That didn't work. So I've basically been up all night. I did have a little half an hour kip this afternoon, but I feel absolutely ratchet. So if you see me do that, Vince is just going to have to give me a bit of a shout out.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll yell in his ear or something. So, evening, Vince. Want to buy some lottery tickets and it's telling me I can't buy from my country. Not using a VPN yet. Confirmed my IP is showing as Brisbane. Okay. So, obviously, the plugin that we use to limit it to the country is not picked up that's happened. So IPs do get moved around into country. So sometimes an IP might have been in Singapore and now been moved to Australia, etc. So that plugin might not have caught up. Suggestion, use a VPN, log into an Adelaide, Melbourne ISP through your VPN, and you should be able to purchase a ticket that way.
Absolutely.
Okay? So that answers that question. Question number 2. Question for Vince. How do we hype Carl's videos? Well, look at it this way. Comments. Lots and lots of comments in the chat down below. And us responding to them would really help. Putting that through, because the more comments that's in there. The second is the number of hours of videos that are played. The more hours that the video gets played, the higher up in the scheduling it goes, right? And the more relevant content. Just mentions as well in other areas, Facebook, Twitter, X, etc.
There is actually a new feature called Hype. There's a button.
Yeah, and
but we don't get it.
Seen that. I
No,
haven't seen that.
we don't get it.
It might be in a rollout stage.
I think Deb suggested that it happens more if the videos are done off a phone, that you can hype them.
I know that TikTok has it. Or is it? Yeah, TikTok has a hype function. So unless it's something like that, but I haven't seen anything on YouTube, but I've seen some YouTube videos talking about a hype train being started, and I have no idea what that's about. But they're videos from America at this stage. So can't answer that one other than what we've already mentioned. Oh, and thank you, everyone. We've got over our 500 on FBN. But now we just need to get the 3,000 hours of viewing. So feel free to watch some of the older shows. Carl, next question. Carl's question for Vince. How is the kids with the under 16s ban? I think I sort of handled that one already. They're going to go out and run mayhem in the streets, right? That's what's going to end up happening there. Or they will find multiple ways around it. And just off the top of my head, I can think of about 15 ways, right? And this is not something the government should be looking at anyway. This is only the prelude to what they're going to start bringing in on the 27th of December, where they start going to rate us adults on what we can watch, depending on what they classify the rating of whatever it is that we want to watch, whether it's R18 or etc. So now they're going to go for that 16 to 18 year gap and move it forward here. Like everything the government does, it does it by creeping. Same with the digital ID. First, I'll get a few businesses to try and make it mandated. And if nobody takes that business to court, right, because at the moment the law says they can't, they'll start, oh, it's a business contract, it's a business deal, it's a, yeah, right. Just like a mandated jab that I would never took, so I lost my job. To me, that is coercion, that is blackmail, pure and simple. Now, was it my business I work for's fault? No, because they were coerced as well. If they did not sack the people who did not take the jab, then they would not get the benefits or the funds from the government to keep their business open. So, lock, stock and barrel. Take me to court for it if you want. I've got all the evidence. No challenge. I'll prove it. Right? It'd be nice to actually sue the police commissioner. So
silver has just gone through 64 US an ounce, so it's at 95.95 Australian.
I might be able to afford to sue him. Sorry.
Yeah, you might be able to. Indeed. What other questions you got?
No, the next one's just a lol underpants vending machine.
Huh.
Yeah. So that's all I've got in that area that I wanted to speak about as far as that is concerned. Once again, please like and subscribe. All right. Thank you, Aussie Sue, very, very much for all that you have done for us and in your moderating and looking after us here. Be aware that we have the lottery. Please go and help out the Donkey Sanctuary. As you know, we threw as much as we could at them last time. Unfortunately, this time we won't be able to do that because I'm telling Carl now we've got to pay some bills, right? Otherwise, we won't be on because it won't be YouTube that's taking us. It's the fact that we can't pay the bill. So
yeah, true that.
Right. So, but no, everything that we can give to them, we can possibly give to them. So please give that to the Donkey Sanctuary. So merch.vofhq.com. Go to the Donkey Sanctuary and do that there.
I saw somebody say, that's spot price, Carl. Yeah, I know that's the spot price. If you were to walk into Ainslie and try and buy a coin for $95.95, you wouldn't be able to get one. I think the cheapest 1 ounce coin that I saw there today is, and that will have gone up now. Yeah, it was $103, nearly $104. So that'll be over $104 now and probably be closer to $106 by breakfast.
Yep.
The way things are going, anyway.
Just crazy. Well, I mean, our Prime Minister can go and buy it on his corporate credit card. that he spends $10,000 a day on.
Yeah, that's an interesting story.
Sorry.
So,
Company. My apologies, not corporate. Company credit card.
yeah.
How does the
we
federal
don't know.
government have a company credit card?
Yeah, which company credit card? The Australia company,
What company?
or is there a, is Lindsay Fox or one of the mining companies giving him a $10,000 a day limit on a card? So yeah, I think that's all a little rude and upsetting. Vince,
I
are you
believe
going
it's
to
our
go to?
taxpayers, man.
Are you going
I
there?
believe it's
You're
our
gonna...
Yeah. No.
Right.
No, unfortunately, I am pre-booked with my children. I have one to take to Adelaide, two to take to Adelaide tomorrow, and then one to pick up from Adelaide tomorrow. So my day tomorrow is out completely. I'm not going to make it Gummeraka. Real shame, because I would have loved to have gone. Just to punch Tim in the mouth. No, I'm kidding.
Billboard Battalion will be there live streaming, so you can catch that on their socials, Facebook and their YouTube channel as well. I found this one rather interesting, that the Prime Minister's office is now directing lobbyists to use things like WhatsApp and the disappearing message thing that you can set, so that any messages the lobbyists have to government members won't be tracked. Now, this is actually against the law, and this was pointed out in Senate estimates only a week or so ago by James Patterson, just how unlawful it is. It's record keeping, and the record keeping has to be kept by the public servant. They do have their uses, apparently. But I don't know, where do we stand? Do we think that the government should be able to have access to things like secret little encryption apps where they can have very quiet conversations that erase themselves after 10 or 15 minutes?
There's certain areas that would be valid for interests of national security, but who monitors that national security is the question. But don't forget that lobbyists are not public servants.
That's right.
Right? So they're saying lobbyists can do this with the ministers. So there's not legally a chance, there's not a legal reason to keep the record on the lobbyist side, but theoretically the minister has to. So it's a catch-22 in that respect. So
very, very definitely a nasty catch-22.
So if they delete them, it'll be a Dan Andrews. I cannot recall. Did you get a message from so-and-so? I cannot recall.
Oh, yes, I cannot recall. The bloody governments are great with that. Here's one that I found rather interesting. This has been a note purportedly sent all through Canberra. A request for a proposal for implantment of law firms. This comes from the High Commission of India in Canberra. The High Commission of India, Canberra, initiates the process of empanelment of law firms in Australian Capital Territory to assist with court cases of Indian nationals. Proposals are invited from competent law firms in this regard. The legal aid provided to Indian nationals by the High Commission shall include filling bail applications, filing petitions for review of sentences and remissions of sentences, mercy petitions, fighting cases of Indian nationals in jail, blood compensation cases, labour cases, end-of-service benefits cases, any other matter that may require legal assistance, marital dispute, including abandonment, domestic violence, and mitigation visa-related legal issues. Proposals may be sent up to the 25th of December if you feel that you are competent enough to go and protect all the Indians that are going to be requiring that. Why, Vince, can I ask, do you think that the Indian High Commission needs to advertise for lawyers for Indian nationals?
Oh, there's two parts of that. Indian national, dual citizenship. Are they Australian citizens? If not, then they are only Indian nationals. If they've broken a law in this country, they need some sort of protection. Well, guess what? That's the same protection every other person gets. But they want to pull in the race card here. So why are they pulling in the race card? They shouldn't. If you're a national, you've broken a law in this country, well, I'm sorry. I think that you should be leaving this country and going back to your own home. Yep. Right? If you're an Australian citizen, you've moved over here, you've sworn, you've taken the oath, you have decided become an Indian or Australian Indian or Indian Australian, whichever way you want to put it. Congratulations, you follow our laws. You take the same penalty as every other Australian does. Yep. So, right, but this is the same thing. The Muslims are doing their little cultural war. The Indians are doing their little cultural war, and our government's letting it happen. And matter of fact, they're inviting it to happen because they're bringing in so many people. And we as a country can't do that, especially seeing that more jobs are disappearing every day due to AI. So,
yeah.
And have you got that posted for tomorrow for Gamaraka anywhere?
No.
All right, guys, it is at Gamaraka. You can find it on Telegram. You can find it in
Gamaraka at 12:30 at the town hall in Gamaraka. I think that's the meeting time.
Go and see Tim Dwyer, fantastic guy. I had to do that, otherwise he'll hit me. No,
and go and say good day to Wade and Nick. Thank them for helping us out, and we might even. Actually, no, we won't be because I'm going to a dual birthday celebration for my mum and me tomorrow. We're having lunch, so I won't be able to be live streaming that unless you get out and want to do it. So we'll see what happens. I've got something that's really gotten up my nose. Young Aussies charged with allegedly wearing Nazi clothing in Melbourne. And I got to tell you, this is starting to really piss me off. I don't know when it became okay to just run around and start associating people and what they wear with Nazis, but I can tell you that I do feel for the police when they're being called names like that, because those certainly look an awful lot like the Nazi uniforms of the SS that I remember. Don't you think? I mean, that's
I actually asked the police officer why they went from the light blue shirts and blue pants to the darker uniforms. And the actual answer that came back was it is a matter of hiding dirt, grime, blood, etc., that they have to deal with on a regular daily basis that stains the clothes. Those clothes do a better job. That's what I was informed. Why?
Yeah.
Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
That young bloke there who's wearing his wind cheater, he just happened to be caught out standing beside a Nazi. And that one seems to be wearing a funny looking police helmet. But I think, if we're going to be starting to look at Nazi clothing, then let's have a really good look at who's dressing like what. And in the newspapers today or recently, the Victorian police have just upgraded their Nazi uniform again to a deeper shade of black. And they were asked why that is. And they said, because it looks tougher.
Well, maybe so. But even still, not everybody who wears a uniform should be classed as Nazi, same as not everybody should be classed as anything. I find
be
this
classed as a Nazi. Don't wear the clothes like one. I'd say that would be my advice.
I find this grouping of people into one thing, like every politician is a pedophile. I find this grouping from people who do this, and I'm sorry, I'm going to say it, you're fucking idiots. There are individual people, some or quite a few can be heading in that path, right? Some of them are psychopaths, some of them are sociopaths, right? But generally speaking, there are good people as well. But as long as you're going to group everybody together, then that's asking them to do the same thing to us, and that is a mistake. You need to take people by people.
These bastards are going to start reading your emotions, and they will.
Good luck on that.
Yeah, they're going to start listening
Yes.
to your conversations, and
Yep.
they're going to see whether or not you're going to identify criminals on the street by saying, oh, gee, how about that house we robbed last night? Well, I guess in Melbourne, the kids that are doing that, waving the machetes around, they're pretty stupid, and they probably would be talking about it on the streets the next day. But that is another level that is going to be thrown at us, folks, and be prepared for that one. And what are we? We're 3 minutes out, 2.5 minutes out. So I want to finish on this tonight. When people say, and we had Juan O Savins on the show last night,
Good show.
there are many people who, follow Juan. There are many people who don't. There are many people who like to criticize him, whatever. Oh, he's been talking about the same thing going over and over and over and over and over. And I've been telling you, many of us have been saying there are changes happening. You just have to go and have your eyes open to see them. And I had one smack me in the face today. Now, this is an AFP police officer that I recorded a little while ago because the statement I found was interesting.
There are current and emerging individuals and groups who are eroding our country's social fabric by advocating hatred, fear, and humiliation.
So you get the idea why I might have been interested in seeing what the AFP had to say about that. But I want you to have a look at the badge.
There are current and emerging individuals and groups who are eroding our country's social fabric by
Okay, got that badge in your mind? Here is an Australian AFP police uniform. Let's have a closer look at the badges. What do you notice?
It's got a crown on it.
Well, so did the other one, but what's the difference with the
Okay.
crowns? That is the Catholic crown. Okay?
Right.
That is the Catholic crown. This is the new AFP logo with the new crown. The correct crown. And that logo is different to that logo, which...
There are current and emerging individuals and groups who are eroding.
So I just would say to people, I've pulled those photos of the old logo off the AFP webpage tonight. And the interesting thing on that is that both logos are displayed. But obviously the police uniform photos have been taken some time ago and been on the website a bit longer. But where the new AFP logo has been placed, it is showing the correct crown. So why is the crown important? Well, that's where Magna Carta comes back into play. And well, what a pity. We've run an hour. I can't really explain it all to you again tonight. But there are plenty of episodes back in the back catalogue, so to speak, on Magna Carta that will explain why the crown is so important and why things are changing if you have eyes to see. So fingers crossed we see a lot more of that change, or at least a lot more money going into our silver investments. And I've got a sneaking suspicion that by tomorrow morning it'll probably be close to $97. So fingers crossed.
If you want a showing, it'll be in Coin Toss tomorrow night. I'll show the chart in Coin Toss tomorrow night as well. So
what time's Coin Toss going to be on?
Around 8 o'clock my time, which is South Australian time, so 8:30 Vic, New South Wales, 7:30 Queensland, and about 5:30 WA, something like that.
You're doing all right.
So,
it's that time of the night.
So, you know what that means? Like all good co-hosts, I've got to do this.
If he was a good co-host, he wouldn't explain it. He'd just do it. All right, folks. Love your work. Have yourself a bloody great weekend. Yes, off to celebrate Mum's birthday and mine tomorrow. My birthday isn't tomorrow. My birthday is Monday. So God knows what sort of a state Monday's show will be. In fact, there will be a show. I'm meant to be going out for dinner. But I will be on the road a bit that day. So there is likely to be shows coming off the phone at the very least, while I'm catching up with a couple of people a little further north of where I am. That's what I'm hoping to do on Monday. And And then Monday night, I'm meant to be having dinner with my daughter and a couple of friends, dear friends. So if that happens, there may not be a show Monday night, but we will fight our way through and you will see something of me, no doubt, on Monday. Have yourself a bloody great weekend. If you are going to be out on the roads, folks, please be safe. Keep an eye out because the dickheads are doing dickhead things on a very consistent basis. And in the lead up to Christmas, well, we just want you to be there for it, okay? So go easy, watch out for the dickheads, and have a great weekend.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's ride!